reading for me is supposed to be enjoyable and fun. And hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is VEDAY day 6 and I'm still here. This is my 5th video since I missed the first one, but no one's counting. I'm not counting. Are you counting? I'm not counting. So today I again didn't sort of prepare a video and sort of decided to come on here real quick and talk about some books. Homegoing by Yagasi and Open City by Teju Cole. This one I read actually last year, and it had been featured on the podcast Call Your Girlfriend. And let me tell you, this is, honest to God, one of my favorite books ever at the moment. It's, what is it? I'll read the blurb. So it's the story of two sisters, one sold into slavery and one a slave trader's wives, and the consequences of their fates and how reverberate through the generations that follow. So in the end, it's these two threads of one family and how they go. So you have one who isn't one thread of the family is in Ghana and the other thread as a result of slavery end up in America, and it's how those journeys go. And I think it's one of the best stories or attempts to reconcile West Africa or Ghana and what's happening in America, or what happened in America, slavery, but also then the civil rights movement. And then it's so at the same time as you're having the civil rights movement in Ghana, you're having stuff about independence and what that's like. And I think on Call Your Girlfriend, they called the book very ambitious, and that's what it is. And I think it's so cool for someone to try and create such an ambitious story and do it for and have black characters, right? It's an epic. It's an epic, but for once it gets to feature black characters, which I feel you rarely ever get. And it's so well done and it's so beautiful. I remember when I was reading it for the first time in a long time, I remembered why I love reading. It was one of those books where you're shit, words and storytelling and world building can be so amazing. And so I highly recommend it to anyone who ever wants to read it, and I'm willing to give my copy. We come to Open City. Now, I bought Open City again at the start of the year last year in 2016. I've always wanted to read a Teju Cole book. I really enjoy his essays and also just his thought processes, and I loved an essay he did for the New York Times about traveling and photography. Feelings about traveling sort of matched my own feelings about traveling, and so I was you know what, I need to stop messing around and actually read some of his books, because I think you can love someone's essays and the way they approach the world and think about things, but they're obviously going to be very different when writing a novel, but also some of that sort of seeps through, and it's another chance to see how he thinks about the world and reacts to the world, even if it's through a character, a fictional character. And so I did start reading Open City last year, and then I couldn't do it. I think the first time around I got to page 25 or something, and I was just you know what, this is not for me. And then this year with the challenge I was doing, I again picked it up because my goal was to try and read as many books that I already had before buying any new books. And so I picked up Open City, and I read it to finish it. I think that I tweeted at one point that it was a slog, and I think before I even started I was do I have it in me? And I just kept pushing, and the character, I think it got to a point where I was in the book and I was reading, but I still was who is this character? Why are they like this? But it was just interesting to read because he goes off on these little side tangents and starts just talking about art and talking about music. In fact, I think there's a bit where he goes to a concert to see a Gustav Mahler show, which inspired me a few weeks ago to go see it myself, because it was the New York Phil, and in the book it's the New York Phil he goes to see. And I just don't know. I don't know about the story because there's a plot twist at the end, which you're kind of huh? Was this necessary? I don't know. It's a very nothing happens but stuff happens kind of book. It's observational, and I think that can be interesting in of itself, this idea of just reading someone observing the world they're in, and the character does that a lot. It's just he wanders around cities and walks around and just looks at the buildings and meets people and talks to them and understands their lives, and I guess it's good for that. But as a sort of, it's not my usual kind of book. I think these two books are very, very different. This is more my type of book, this idea of building a world and having like characters who I can relate to but also not relate to, and it seems like there's a story, whereas with this, the story is these observations of people. I think it's not dissimilar to me sitting on the tube and observing the person opposite me. It just then becomes, do I want to read something of that nature for, for 259 pages? I don't know. But I did finish it, and I was glad I'd finished that for some weird reason. Like, it was a weird sense of accomplishment. I think I get that sometimes with books that I don't think I'm gonna finish, but then it's like, no, I powered through and I did it. And I don't think it's a bad book, I just don't think it's for me. But yeah, so I just came out to talk about some books. If you watch this and enjoy it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And in the comments below, tell me one book you've really, really enjoyed and one book you sort of wondered why you even finished it. Bye!